Hello dearlings, Mary here. Today we're going to talk about overthinking. We all worry, and goodness knows we have a lot to worry about at the moment with the world in such a mess. But how many of us actually overthink? A study found that women overthink more than men by quite a large margin. 57% of women overthink compared to 43% of men. It's also much more common in younger and middle-aged people than in older folk. 73% of 25 to 35-year-olds overthink. That is a lot. 3/4 almost. And 52% of 45 to 55-year-olds do too. It's much lower in elderly people, with just 20% of 65 to 75-year-olds overthinking. So here are 20 things you need to know about overthinking. Number 1. Are you an overthinker? You may already know that you're an overthinker. Here are 7 of the most common symptoms for you to check out. Do any of these feel familiar? Continuous thinking that is non-productive. Feeling paralysed by over-analysing, aka analysis paralysis. Not being able to control your feelings of worry. Difficulty sleeping because you can't switch your head off. Feeling continually stressed. Anxiety and depression. Number 2. Is overthinking harmful? It can be. Here are 10 harmful issues that can come from overthinking. Do any of these tell your story? 1. Are you having difficulty with relationships because you can't stop micro-analysing conversations, perceived feelings, events and actions? 2. Are you getting nothing done because of analysis paralysis? 3. Has that made you less productive at work and at home? 4. Are you now having performance problems because of overthinking? 5. Is your creativity being stifled because you're overthinking every step of the project and never getting anything started? 6. Has your self-esteem dropped as a result of all this? 7. Are you irritable, short-tempered and constantly tired because you never get a good night's sleep? 8. Do you constantly feel anxious? 9. Do you now feel pessimistic about your life? 10. Have you become depressed because of these issues? Number 3. When to see a doctor. Overthinking can range from being slightly annoying to overwhelmingly destructive and distressing. You may barely notice it or feel that it's totally ruining your life. If your level of overthinking is causing you distress or affecting how you live your life, it's time to see a professional. Therapy is a useful tool which can help you to decide which thoughts are truly productive or non-productive, and from there a treatment plan can be formulated. If your overthinking is so severe that it is causing you to think of self-harm, please contact your doctor immediately. Number 4. What causes overthinking? Overthinking isn't currently classed as a mental illness, but it is recognised as being associated with other conditions, most commonly depression, anxiety, eating disorders and substance use. People who suffer from long-term illness and or chronic pain are also at risk of overthinking. It often manifests as negative thinking about their condition, their pain and their healing process. A common thread is that overthinkers often defend their negative thoughts. They may believe that their worrying is proof that they really care about something, or they believe that their negative way of thinking is protecting them by preparing them for the worst possible outcome of a situation. Pessimists are never disappointed. Those positive spins on overthinking explain how easily it becomes a habit and how it can often be hard to overcome. Number 5. Do you need to change your ants? So, what are ants? Automatic negative thoughts, most commonly immediate knee-jerk reaction thoughts that usually involve anger or fear. In order to tackle your own ants, you need to be able to recognise them and the effect that they're having on your mood. To do that, use these 4 simple steps. Step 1. Start a mood journal, tracker or just a simple notebook. Step 2. Note down what happened to make you feel anxious. how your mood was at each step of the way, and the first thought that you had regarding this situation. This will help you to work out why the situation gave you such negative thoughts. Step 3. Write down the emotions that you felt and try to identify why you felt like that. Step 4. Once you have identified your first thought, think of a positive alternative that you could use. So, for example, instead of "I'm really scared to do this, I'm going to embarrass myself," try "This is a new challenge. I'm not sure how it will work out, but it will be fun to try." Number 6. You can choose to accept or deny your thoughts. Your brain is constantly thinking. It has a lot to deal with, and so you get continuous thoughts, suggestions and ideas. But we don't have to listen to our brains all of the time. Our brain is not always right because many thoughts come from habit and sheer repetition. Here's an example. How many times a day do you say, "Oh, I'm such an idiot," or "just stupid," just as a knee-jerk reaction? Say those things often enough and your brain will categorise them as go-to reactions, at which point it will start offering those negative thoughts to you for you to use as your instant reaction. The amazing thing is that you can change how you think, and it's not that difficult. Those instant negative thoughts came about through repetition, but you have the power of repetition to turn negatives into positives. So when your inner voice calls you stupid, say out loud, "I am not stupid." Or, when you catch yourself muttering that you're an idiot, catch that thought and overwhelm it by muttering or thinking, "That is an old behaviour that no longer serves me." This also applies to overthinking. Here's how. Catch yourself starting to worry. Stop. Question whether those feelings are truly necessary or not. And if you're rejecting that worry, just say or think, "I don't do that anymore." Just try it for a few days, and I think you'll be surprised at how effective it is. This is exactly how positive affirmations work, sheer repetition that creates new pathways of thinking in your brain. Number 7, retrain your brain. We now know that when our brains are resting, the problem-solving areas would still light up on a scan. Now this is important because it tells us that the brain will naturally overthink even when it is resting. That's why it's so hard to stop your mind from churning over when you're trying to get to sleep. So you need to retrain your brain not to do that. How? Try these ideas before lying down to sleep. Take a long, relaxing bubble bath. Read a book, but make sure it's a gentle story, not the memoirs of an SAS hero. We're going for restful thoughts here. The same applies to watching TV or looking at stuff on your computer. Keep it restful. Or do some crafting that you find relaxing. Your aim here is to reprogram your brain to get involved with activities that leave no room for its default setting of worrying. Number 8, find a distraction. A good way to shut down overthinking is to distract your brain. You need to interrupt that negative thought pattern and immediately give your brain something else to think about. But these don't need to be complicated thoughts, they just have to be completely unrelated to the worry pathway that your brain is starting to go down. Here are a few ideas so that you have some immediate go-to thoughts. What was the name of your first pet? What was the name of your history teacher? Where was the last home you lived in? What is your favourite cake, TV show, flower, etc.? Do you see how simple that is, but it's really effective? Another idea is to set aside a short amount of time, a few times a week. During this time, list some things that you already do that could be used as immediate distractions, such as baking, giving yourself a manicure, walking around the garden with a cup of coffee, take the dog for a walk. You get the idea. Long term, you can also put a lot more positive thoughts into your mind by getting involved in a pastime that you enjoy, such as take out your recipe books and plan something new to cook. Go to a garden centre and look at all of the plants and then come home and plan a new area of your garden. Choose a hobby that you've always wanted to try and try it. Number 9, be kind to yourself. If you keep focusing on mistakes that you've made in the past, you will find it extremely difficult to move forward. Beating yourself up over things that happened in the past is a pointless and unhelpful course of action. So try this instead. When you feel that you're being negative about your own past actions, notice what thoughts you're having. Are those thoughts causing a physical reaction such as hyperventilating, feeling tearful, feeling panicky, or actually physically shaking? Notice what physical reactions you're having. This is your reality in that moment, so allow yourself to acknowledge those thoughts and bodily reactions and reject getting panicky about them. Allow yourself to recognise them and accept them with a positive affirmations such as, I accept myself, or I'm not perfect, but I am good enough. Number 10, take a deep breath. Mindful breathing sounds like a cliche, but it does work. Next time worry threatens your peace of mind, try this simple 5-minute breathing technique that will distract your brain and make you feel less panicky and anxious. 1. Sit in a comfortable place and take a few moments to relax your neck, which is where tension often lurks, and also stretch your shoulders to loosen them. 2. Place one hand over your heart, slightly left of the middle of your chest, and lay your other hand flat on your stomach. 3. Take a slow and deliberate breath in through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then slowly let it out of your mouth. As you do this, notice or be mindful of how your chest and stomach moves. 5. Pay attention, be mindful of how you're feeling as you continue to take these slow, controlled breaths. Number 11. Try this simple form of meditation. You don't need to do a full meditation to relieve overthinking. Attention training is a form of mindfulness that is used to help people who suffer with depression and anxiety. It's a simple technique but very effective, and again you're simply distracting your brain. All you have to do is focus on an everyday task, but really take the time to focus on it. So, for example, if you're washing the dishes, check every one of your senses while you do it. Sight. Look closely at every item as you're washing up. Appreciate the materials that make up each item: wood, glass, plastic, silicone, etc. Then their shapes. Are they matte or shiny, sharp or blunt, etc.? Hearing. Really listen to the sounds: the water going into the sink or bowl, the dishes clinking together, the metallic ring of the pans, the sound of the cloth or scourer on items. Taste. This is a more difficult one unless you're polishing off the kids' leftovers. Notice if you can taste the scent of the dish soap in the back of your throat. Touch. Are the items smooth, hard, slippery, flat, curved? How do the bubbles feel in the water? Smell. Take in the general scents of your kitchen as you wash. Give it a try, it'll certainly take washing up to the next level. Number 12. Put yourself in the moment. Mindfulness strikes again. Grounding yourself in the here and now is a great way to focus your brain on something other than worry. Here are a few ideas to try. Turn off your phone, tablet or PC for the same amount of time every day and spend that time on one other absorbing activity of your choice. Be mindful as you eat. Make or buy one of your favourite meals. Focus and notice the taste and smell of every bite and how it feels in your mouth. Is it cold, hot, spicy, savoury, creamy, smooth, textured? Go outside, take a walk, even if it's just around your garden, and be mindful of everything you see. Use the senses checklist to help you really focus. Number 13. Think about your own wins. When you find yourself overthinking, stop and take out your notebook or use a note-taking app on your phone. Note down 5 things that have gone well over the past week and what part you played in those successes, however small that part was. We're not looking for enormous happenings here. They could be really simple things like cleaning out the cupboard under the sink or sowing some flower seeds. Do this every time you start to feel overwhelmed by anxiety. Once you start noticing these small accomplishments, you will find yourself doing more of them because you'll start to recognise the value in lots of tiny wins. Remember, giant oaks start with tiny acorns. Whenever you feel as if you're spiralling down, take out your notebook and celebrate your accomplishments. This is a great combination of distraction and positivity. Number 14, consider other viewpoints. Repeating negative thought patterns is partly habit, but it's also a product of how you see your world. We are all shaped by our experiences, our values, and the consequent assumptions that we draw from those. So another way to break those thought patterns is to try and see a situation from another point of view. This can really help you to gain a new perspective on something that you thought you believed. For example, are you feeling nervous about a shopping trip with friends because you just know it's going to end up making you feel fat, broke, and socially awkward? Why? Why do you know that? Has that happened before? Did you fear that it would happen before, but then the actual event was fun? Really challenge your way of thinking and ask yourself, did that really happen? Or did I just fear that it would? And what are my actual memories of that event? Repeating this exercise can give you a more realistic and less scary perspective. Number 15, take action. Failing to take action can cause repeated negative thinking. For example, if you're eaten up with jealousy over a room makeover that you saw a friend do in one of her rooms and you know you will never have that, there is a way to stop that emotion or worry. You can turn those negative thoughts into positive ones. Make yourself a visualization board of your own perfect room, house, or even life. Immerse yourself in finding just the right examples of what you dream of. As you're doing this, imagine two things. Number 1, feel as if this really is yours right now. 2, think of ways that you could work towards making these dreams a reality. And 3, look out for opportunities that may start coming your way. There are 3 great wins to this technique. You're distracting your brain from negative thinking, you're turning a negative into a positive, and you're using the law of attraction. But more about that in future videos. Number 16, look at your emotional responses. Your thoughts can become a cycle of negative, repetitive thinking, but why do you respond the way you do to those thoughts? It can be enlightening and helpful to discover what your primary emotions are behind this overthinking. Use your journal or app to take particular notice of how your overthinking affects your mood, and what are the emotions involved in creating that mood in the first place. The more self-aware you can be, the easier it will be to break your negative thought patterns. Number 17, immerse yourself in nature. Studies have shown that walking for an hour and a half in nature can dramatically lessen overthinking. These results are thought to involve the relative quietness of nature and the way we can often feel small in such environments. When we feel smaller, our issues become less prominent and therefore less deserving of our thoughts and reactions. If you don't live near nature, find a park or an urban area with trees. Regular walks in any of these environments will be helpful. Number 18, get out of your head and into your body. When your mind starts to swirl, ignore your thoughts and turn your focus onto your body. This is another form of mindfulness which you can perform simply by sitting still and focusing on each part of your body in turn. You could also try moving to music or taking any type of physical exercise. Number 19, do a brain dump. Take out your trusty journal and get writing. It can be anything. A shopping list, a to-do list, a bucket list, or a plan for a project or activity. Focusing your mind like this will distract your brain and swap your feelings of worry to feelings of positivity. Number 20, make someone else's day. Still in search of distractions, could you offer some childcare to a friend, neighbour or relative? Could you do a grocery run for someone? Could you take someone's dog for a walk? Could you make some cookies for someone or for yourself? Make a list of these types of distractions so that you have ideas ready when your mind starts to race. This does double duty. It distracts your mind and makes you feel productive and helpful, so it's a win-win. I really hope that you found these helpful. If you feel able to, please share your experiences in the comments below, as they may be helpful for someone else. We are building a healing, growing, loving community that is supportive, non-judgmental and helpful. Please subscribe to the tribe, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that others can find this content. I'm so thankful for you all. Until next time, love, light and peace to everyone. Namaste.